Hello, my name is Kainton, and today we are going to continue with tutorial 13, working with date and time in Python. And this is quite interesting because it's kind of richer in feature than date and time in other languages. I'd like to, before I continue, remind you to subscribe to my channel by clicking on the subscribe button, the red button below this video. So if you subscribe, you kind of motivate me to continue making this video, and also you'll get notified when I make new lessons. So just click on the subscribe button below this video to just subscribe to my channel. Thank you. All right, let's continue. So we have about 6 different topics we are going to cover today. Introduction to Python, date and time, working with current date and time, getting day, month, year, and weekday, getting both day and time, and working with only time. The code I'm using is also going to be available for you in this link. So I'm going to put it in the description box below, so you can always find it and use it. So this is actually my website, www.kindtongenius.com/python, and then you can find the date and time tutorial. Alright, so let's start with introduction to date and time. The introduction simply means you need to import 3 different things, 3 different modules for you to work with date and time. So these modules are what contains all the functions and methods you need to work with date and time in Python. So you just say import, the first one is date, or let's say from datetime import date, from datetime import time, from datetime import what? Datetime. Alright. Alright, so this is introductory part. The first thing we're now going to look at is working with current date and time. How do we get the current date and time? So instead of typing out this code, let me just copy it and paste, and then let's run it and see how we get the current date and time. So here we are saying that today is equal to date.today. So we are creating a date object from date.today function. So this date.today is this function today is inside the date module, and then we can then print today. So if I go ahead to run this code, you can see that it gives me today's date is 2019-02-20. So basically, when a format is not specified, it uses the default format of year, month, and day. So that is how you get data, the working with the current time. And let's go ahead. Let me try something. Let's try now and see what happens. So if I run using now, okay, it gives an error. We'll come back to this in a minute. You can use datetime.now. Okay, so for this I'm going to come back to this in a second. Alright, for now we are talking about date.today. So that's the first thing you do to get the current date. So this is date, we are not talking about time now. Now the next thing I want to talk about is you can separate a date into day, month, and year. So you can actually get the actual year and the actual month. So let's take, for instance, if I print today.year, so it's going to print out the current, so of course it's saying today's date, so I can just say today's year is, as you can see. So I can also say month, and I print it out, it's going to give the month is 2, which is February 2019. That's when I'm making this video, but it's actually month. And then today's day, right? Dot day. So this is going to give us the day, which is 20th of February. So if I take all the code and run it, it's going to just display everything that we just talked about right now. So here it's displaying the date, then it takes the day, the month, and the year. So today.day, today.month, and today.year. So you can see that it displays the 3 of them. Let me make some space. So you can see day 20, month 2, and year 2019. So you can see the code here. So please take some time to do it yourself, run this code in your system and actually see how it works. Another thing I would like to tell you about is the weekday. So you can actually get a weekday. For instance, the weekday returns the number of the weekday. So Monday corresponds to 0, Tuesday 1, Wednesday 2. So if I, like today I'm making this video on a Wednesday, right? Yeah, so if I say today dot weekday is going to return 2. Yeah, so it's actually weekday. So weekday returns 2 because today is Wednesday. Monday is 0, Tuesday 1, and so on and so forth. So that is what I explained here. So if you look at this place, you can see Monday 0, Tuesday 1, Wednesday 3, and so on. So you can try it yourself and see how it works. Getting both date and time. To get both date and time, you now use date time. In this case, we use here date. But to get date and time, we can use date time, right? So let me take out this. So if I use date time, it's going to give me both the date and the time. So take note of it. We use date time is going to give you both date and time. And now I can use the now function as well. It's going to give both date and time. So now gives date and time. Today gives date and time. But you are going to use a prefix with the date time. Alright? Alright, so we now want to look at working with only time. For now we've looked at date. We've also looked at working with date and time combined together. The next thing we want to do is working with only time. So to work with only time, I will tell you what we are going to do. We are going to use the time method and give it a date, right? So I can just say current time is equal to date time dot time. So this function will now take a date, like today. So if I go ahead to print the current time, I can just copy this code and use it. So if I print the current time, you will see that it gives us only the time. So what are all these? This is the hours, this is a minute, and this is a second, and this is a microseconds. So it's actually quite precise. So sometimes you may not need this. You can take it out, and we are going to see how to remove this in a minute. So this is how to get only time. You use the time function. Alright, let's proceed. Now you can separate the time into hour, minute, second, and microseconds. So you can just say print. So this time you can just say hours or hour as the case may be. So I'm going to say current time dot hour. So in this case it's going to give me only the hour. So and that is 4 because now it's 4 o'clock as the time I'm making this video. So if I copy this and just paste it here, now I'm saying current time dot minute, current time dot second, current time dot microsecond is going to return all this exactly the way it is, as you can see. Alright, let's proceed again. Now this is very important. This is the key function of working with date and time in Python. This strftime, use it to format date and time. So now we have our date and time. How do we format it the way we want? So you use the function strftime. Yeah. So now I'm going to format this today to display in a way I want it. For now, this is how it displays. It displays both date and time, and nobody wants a date and time in this way. This is not what we want. So what we are going to do is we are going to say .strftime, and then we give it a format. Now this is very important. There are lists of formats that you can use to format date and time. So the first one is year. Or let's start with the weekday. Let's say I want to display something like something like this. Wednesday, February, or Wednesday 20th February 2019 at let's say 4:30 AM. Alright. So I'm going to show you how to display this bit by bit. The first thing we want to do is to know that, okay, I made a little note here. So the first one is the weekday. That is, the weekday is Wednesday I want to display. So you use the format which is A, and then, sorry, use percentage A. So this gives us the weekday. Of course, you need to enclose it in quotes. Let's enclose it in quotes. So this is going to give us the weekday. So let's see. So you can see it displays Wednesday. Now the next thing we want to display is a comma. You just put the comma out there and space. The next thing we want to display is 20, and this is the what's the day. The day is what is the day is D. So I can just say D or percentage D. So let's, oh sorry, 20. So I can just say percentage D. So at this point it's going to display the day. Okay, just attach TH to it. So Wednesday 28th, and the next one is what? 2019, and that we use Y. So let's say percentage Y. So I'm going to run it, and it says Wednesday 20th February. Oh, February has not been displayed. Okay, so in between here I'm going to display February. February is the name of the month, and that you use percentage B. Yeah. So let's see. All right, Wednesday. This is Wednesday, 20th February, and the year 2019. At then the next thing we want to display is either 1 p.m. or something like that. So percentage I gives us the hour in 12-hour format. So use percentage I, it gives us the hour in 12-hour format. So I'm going to run it at 04, and then the minutes is percentage M, and AM PM percentage P. Alright. So it displays everything exactly the way we want. So maybe we'll just add a colon in between this place so that it makes sense, looking just like time. So this is how to use strf format, so you can play around with it. So here is, you find a complete list, this link here. You can also find it in the below in the description box. So play around displaying a different kind of date and time format. So this is where we come to an end of our date and time lesson in Python. I like it. Thank you for viewing. Remember to click on subscribe button below, and also like the video. It's been informative for you, and maybe share around with your friends if somebody might need it. So we'll see you in the next lesson.